Hello, good evening to all. Good afternoon and good morning. Namaste, salam to everybody. I'm here as a moderator for this event. I welcome Mahiuddin Bhuiya from Bangladesh. Simultaneously, I welcome Nadeja Johanna from Russia, Ibrahim Mongia, Sierra Leone, and Dr. Linancio Calderon, Philippines, Elizabeth Masatu, Tanzania, and all the participants. And one of the important the co-host are the executive director, that is Corina Susdia Jain. So I hearty welcome to all of you. So today's our topic is a very burning issue really because nobody is going to care about our motherland, that is our earth. And our earth, our motherland is merely related with that plus our whole community as a human being, where all globally, maybe the human beings are again what other than human beings, very animals, but our earth is a shelter for each and everybody who are staying on the earth. So that's why it's our duty how to take care about our earth and what is the role of senior citizen or human beings, because number of hindrances, global warmings, then pollutions, e-waste are going to produce day by day, gradually. And all the happenings we are not going to end, but we have to sustain those technologies. And by the sustainable technologies, we can save somehow the earth, our earth, because after some day, after few years, after few days, few months, or few decades, we should not get complete breath which we are taking right now. And this will be the horrible if the sudden changes, developments, degradations is going on through natural calamities as well as through human beings. And drastically, the human beings are the major cause to destroy our earth. So that's why being a scientist, being a researchers, it is our duty to save the earth, definitely by the some approach. And the today's topic is our earth and our community. So from Russia, Sierra Leone, Philippines, Tanzania, Bangladesh, then Romania, from India, and other many countries. From many countries, participants are added here. Definitely, this message will deliver helpful, valuable for their research, for their academic activities, as well as their organization. So today's speakers are from Russia, from Sierra Leone, and Philippines, and Tanzania. So may I request now uh, Nadeza Yohanova from Russia, please introduce yourself and go ahead. Please.
Just a second. Just a second. Hello, friends, dear guests and guest speakers. Welcome to our our Earth, our community session. And when I was preparing for the presentation today, I was thinking about the Earth Day, which is celebrated quite soon in some time, and which is celebrated almost every month, every day by global communities, global events. And first of all, I would love to start with a brief video, which is called One Earth. And on the screen, you see some quotations. And just a second, I will start with this quotation. So yes, so the first quotation from Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy is a famous Russian writer who wrote War and Peace novel. And his quotation goes like this: "One of the first conditions of happiness is that the link between man and nature shall not be broken." So now let's watch a brief video and think about how us people share the earth with animals, plant species, and how we are responsible for the earth protection. All of us share the same earth, and all of us are responsible for the survival of the earth and its habitat. Natural resources depletion, overpopulation, cause harm, all the species in the earth, polluting and littering is one of the global issues these days. Well, I think I will stop watching the video at this point. And I was just intending to remind us of some of the main global issues we are facing these days. And now I would like all of us, if you allow me, to play the quiz. I have prepared a quiz for today, this year celebration, and I will start a live lesson. So it will be a kind of a lesson. We will play, and we will learn about the Earth Day celebration this year. Just a second. I will share the link. You will join. We will see the slides, and I will give you my view of the recent issues we are to solve. Sorry. So yes, I will share the link. Yes, I will share the link now through the chat box. So Karina, maybe you will share the link in the Facebook chat box. And now I will share the screen. You can see the quiz code on the screen. And I'm waiting maybe for some 2-3 minutes for the participants to join in. So we will play and we will talk about International Mother Earth Day, which is to be celebrated this year as an annual event. So we all remember that our Earth is our global community, and thus us who are present here at the conference, at the meeting, we are also members of our community, and all of us are concerned with earthly matters. So please join in and let's play and talk and learn about International Mother Earth Day. We usually call it Earth Day, but today we'll learn some more facts, some facts, maybe refresh some facts about this festival, this day. Now, I'm waiting for 1 more minute and we start playing. You can join by, so the code is 369562. You're going to joinmyquiz.com. And I guess we start, not to waste time. So the official theme this year is invest in our planet. So we used to think about protecting, saving the planet. Now time has come for us to invest into the earth. So, yes. We celebrate Earth Day to raise awareness, environment, or to support for the environment protection. Why do we use it? Why do we celebrate it? What are the reasons? The main reasons. So the goal of celebrating Earth Day is to raise people's awareness of environmental issues. We move on. Earth Day began in what year? 1950, 1960, 1970, or 1980? When did we start celebrating Earth Day? By the way, it is celebrated on the 22nd of April. Time is up, and so in 1970, we started celebrating Earth Day. So the first celebration was held on the 22nd of April, 1970. The aim was to support environmental protection. It was initiated by McConnell, Nelson, and Dennis Haynes, activists from the United States and United Nations. So the day was proclaimed and supported by the United Nations, and in 2009, it was renamed into International Mother Earth Day. Which people proposed the Earth Day celebration? John McConnell, Gaylord Nelson, Dennis Hayes, or David Attenborough? Which of them? Actually, 3 of them. Multiple choice. So John McConnell, Gaylord Nelson, and Dennis Haynes were the first who initiate Earth Day celebration. Which is the flag of the Earth Day, the symbol of the Earth Day. So Muhyiddin comes first with the flag. So yes, we see the results and we move on to learn more facts of the Earth Day. Which of these letters symbolizes Earth Day? P, beta, or theta? Greek letters. So the podium is moving, and theta is the symbol of Earth Day. So the unofficial flag was created by McConnell, presenting the blue marble, a photo taken by the Apollo crew, and the green Greek letter theta on the white background symbolizes our fragile world. Just a second. I'm taking print screens. So the Earth's population has doubled or tripled over the last 60 years. And it is in 2020 was over 7 or 8 billion. What do you know about our Earth's population? It is growing rapidly. So it is doubled or tripled in the last 40, 60 years. And how much was it in 2020? So it tripled for the last 60 years, and it was already 8 billion people in 2 years ago. Yes, we are growing in numbers. In 2020, it was estimated that the Earth is home to 3 billion or 3 trillion trees. How many trees were estimated 2 years ago grow on Earth? Three trillion trees are said to be growing on Earth. The Earth is losing 15 million, billion, or trillion trees every minute, according to some. Muhyiddin keeps the leadership. So 15 billion trees are said to be lost every minute by the Earth. Every year, humans change 10 million, billion, or trillion hectares of land for the worse. Worsen land, us, worsening land. How much of it? 10 million, 10 billion, or 10 trillion hectares a year. So it makes 10 million hectares of land are changed annually. So the United Nations initiated the Kennedy Project, which encourages deforestation or reforestation. So the Kennedy Project encourages deforestation or reforestation. Of course, it encourages reforestation and it fights deforestation. It is against deforestation. Yes, we go on. We are coming. So, in 2021, the United Nations proclaimed the decade on ecosystem restoration, which purposes to facilitate global cooperation for the restoration of degraded and destroyed ecosystems. And I would like, excuse me. Yes, I would like to sum up with the quotation from Sir David Attenborough, a renowned biologist and environmentalist. We now have the opportunity to create the perfect home for ourselves and restore the rich, healthy, and wonderful world which we inherited. And the final question will be to you. What do you save to protect the earth? How you help preserve the earth's biodiversity? You have to participate in the poll. So we can reduce, use recycle, we can do multiple choice. So we protect animals, we do not litter, we save trees, we plant trees, we do many more things to save the earth and protect. We are doing the poll just to remember, to remind ourselves that it is in our power to save the earth, our common home. And that is the final slide. And I'm happy to be here with you and to remind you, my dear friends, so I'm glad to see that many participants of the session plant trees. So most of us protect animals and save trees. Yes. So the future is in our hands. So thank you for watching me. Yes, I want to end the lesson. Now we will see the podium, I guess. So we see the leaders. So if you were students, you're very happy to be the first place winners. Now let me, well, I'm lost here. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends.
Thank you so much, Nadeza Ivanova. Really, you expressed a lot of ideas about diversity and how would be being a living things, and again what non-living thing also. But degradation is going on. But anyhow, we have to conserve it. We have to save it. Then our earth can be more protective. Really, with the help of your presentation, you message a lot of idea with the help of your presentation. Thank you so much, and I am very happy to be here that Zelta and Jane are working on good topics, and really this event may reach globally through GELTA. Thank you so much. Uh, Another tenor or speakers, that is Ibrahim Mogia Sierra Leone. So I request Ibrahim Mongia, Sierra Leone, please introduce yourself and please take over the session.
Unfortunately, Mr. Ibrahim, I think is not with us today. Maybe some issues there in his side. So let's go on with the next speaker, please.
Yes. Okay, perhaps Ibrahim Mugia, Sierra Leone, he is not with us due to maybe the technical problems. Now, may I request Leoncio Calderon, Philippines, please introduce yourself and take over the task. Please.
Oh, hello. You have not. I think you have not share your sound, please. There is no sound, please. Before share screen, please you need to share sound.
Inspiration. Good evening, everyone. I am Leoncio M. Calderon II from the Philippines. Ancient Filipinos as part of the bigger community. Taken from ancient Philippine folklore, Diwata is often translated into English as fairy or nymph, and described in much the same way, a thing of the air. But this tiny creature of myth was also revered as a protector spirit that bestowed blessing on those who respected its home and cultivated its favor. And here is a modern-day Diwata, orbiting in space, whose programs likewise drew inspiration from the respective mythologies: Apollo, Bhaskara, Garuda. It was an apt name indeed for the first fully Philippine-made and owned satellite, the country's first tentative step into space. But it was also something much more for astronomer Rohel Marie Sese, then head of the Philippine Space Agency. He firmly sees Diwata 1 as a timely opportunity to revisit the country's forgotten scientific traditions, to ponder what might have been, and to appreciate what lay ahead. A way of showing that astronomy and science weren't new to Filipino society. Perhaps the first astronesians to set foot in the Philippines encountered the descendants of the Kalinga toolmakers and of Calao man. If so, then the Philippines was likely a major maritime hub for thousands of years before recorded history, a fertile ground for the development of indigenous science and technology, particularly in the way of seafaring, mathematics, and astronomy. What you see now is the balangay, or mother boat. By the time Spanish conquerors arrived in the Philippines in the 16th century, they came upon already highly developed maritime societies with seafaring technology capable of making routine voyages across the vast open seas. Historical records from as early as the 10th century showed that Filipino ancestors regularly traveled throughout Southeast Asia on trade routes that were by then already well established. Voyages that reached as far as the eastern coast of Vietnam and all the way north to China. These routes predate by at least hundreds of years Magellan's circumnavigation of the globe, as well as his arrival and death in the Philippines in 1521. They are even older than the Chinese explorer Zheng He's expedition across Asia in 1400. Ancient Filipinos may have been more advanced than previously thought. If they had boats traveling then the level of technology was certainly more sophisticated than we have assumed. The exodus to Polynesia and beyond is known, however, is that some 7,000 years ago, another group of intrepid explorers began a grand exodus, the likes of which has never been seen before or since. Modern humans in the Stone Age set out from China through Taiwan and braved the deep seas into northern Luzon. Some of them might even have settled in Calao Cave and Kalinga, but they didn't stop there. They eventually pushed on to the archipelago's over 7,000 islands and continued outwards to some of the most remote places in the world. Whoever these people were, the Philippines serve as a jump-off point to the farthest reaches of Southeast Asia, Australia and beyond, to Polynesia, Hawaii, and Easter Island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And yet, equipped with nothing more than Stone Age tools and technology, these people succeeded in establishing themselves thousands of miles from the nearest continent. This great Austronesian expansion is one of mankind's most monumental undertakings. But the journey of these ancient unknown explorers started in Asia, and the Philippines was a vital staging ground for their voyage. Polynesian traditions seem to point back to the Philippines. Hawaii's central folk hero Maui bears a similarity to the Filipino hero god Lumawi, whose name can mean either fish hook or voyage. Some of the traditions of Maui suggest that the Polynesians knew of the Philippines as a place where his ancestors once lived and that he even made voyage there, since he is credited with fishing up our islands. All these are an indication that the Philippines and Polynesia have a shared history of migration. It is not unlikely that ancient Polynesian peoples knew the location of the Philippines and how to travel there. It is certainly true that their canoe technology and navigational knowledge was more than sufficient to enable them to make the journey. And then there is the tantalizing possibility that ancient Filipinos may even have had a hand in building the giant Moai statues on Easter Island. These imposing stone figures, each as tall as a 6-story buildings, were carved from local rock and spaced stoically inward as if guarding the island's inhabitants. For such a small and distant place, the presence of these impressive statues indicates the existence of a highly organized and technologically advanced people. They needed to know enough about stone cutting and basic mechanics in order to shape, transport, and erect the statues in their current location. They must also have had a well-developed society to coordinate such massive undertakings. It may very well be that today's Filipinos are blissfully unaware that they are descended from the same people that populated Rapa Nui, the Polynesian name for Easter Island, and who had the scientific and technological capability to build the large stone monuments that the isle is famous for. Voyaging canoes may make more than just one-way trips like migration theories sometimes allude. It's more likely that Philippines was one of the first areas to be colonized by the mutual ancestors of Filipinos and Polynesians. So, it's totally possible that the Rapa Nui people are of Filipino descent or at least have contributing ancestors from the Philippines. In 2011, scientists from Australian National University discovered a genetic link tying the people of Polynesia to the Philippines in a very unlikely place, the DNA of chickens. By studying the common genetic traits of the animals that people had domesticated and brought with them, whether for food or companionship, like chickens, cows, and dogs, Vicky Thompson and her team of researchers hope to shed more light on the migrating patterns of ancient Polynesians. Chicken bones dug up from archaeological sites were found to contain a genetic signature that's unique to Polynesia and Southeast Asia. Most surprising, however, is that the signature can still be found in modern chickens in Camiguin and Manila, suggesting that Polynesian chickens are descended from Philippine stock. The spread of Philippine chickens across the Pacific may simply have been through barter between early Filipinos and early Polynesians who sailed back and forth across the open seas on now long-forgotten trade routes. Perhaps a Polynesian fisherman found himself in the Philippines and finding local fowl particularly delicious, decided to take a few with him back home. But it's more likely that early Filipinos brought the chickens with them when they migrated out of the archipelago, and their descendants later became the Polynesians. All we can say is that if this is the same group of people moving from Taiwan south to the Philippines, they only pick up the chicken from the Philippines. Fried chicken, anyone? Pioneer Philippine ethnoastronomer Dante Ambrosio believed that the constellations that ancient Filipinos saw in the night skies were reflections of their souls, their culture, their humanity, and their mortality. When the ancient Filipinos looked up to the heavens, they didn't just see the sky. They also saw their own civilization, especially when stars are concerned. Like other cultures, they map onto the sky their own uniqueness. They claim the heavens as theirs, documenting folk names for the stars and traditional beliefs about the heavens among native peoples. He pointed out that the Philippines' many ethno-linguistic groups shared common names for the stars, despite having hundreds of languages, a clear indication of their shared Austronesian roots. The earliest known written documentation of ancient Filipinos' astronomical knowledge is from the 14th century by a Franciscan friar named Juan de Plasencia, who came to the islands in 1577 on one of the first missionary expeditions from Spain. Some of them adored the stars, although they did not know them by their names, as the Spaniards and other nations know the planets, with the one exception of the morning star, which they called Tala. Plasencia wrote, Tala is still in common use even today, as a synonym for star. He also wrote that Filipinos track other constellations in the sky. The ancients called them talampad. The Filipinos saw in Orion not a person, but a thing, a kind of ballista, an arm-bored trap called a balatik. It is by this name that Filipinos across the archipelago knew this constellation, with only slight differences among the many languages, Balatic to the Bagobos and Tagalogs, Bayatic to the Mandaya, and Belatic to the Manobos. It's easy to believe that Asian Filipinos were primitive because they didn't develop such tools. But perhaps after ages of migration and travel, Filipinos have no need to do so at all. They were also familiar with the current patterns, the wind patterns. They knew that the time of year. They would know the seasons. So they knew these things that the Europeans were unfamiliar with. A tool like the astrolabe or the sextant were really not necessarily in the context of the way that indigenous Filipinos use the stars. At present, inquiries into the tapestry of indigenous Philippine science and technology have yet to be picked up by a new generation of researchers. And then there are the physical threads of the story that have yet to be unearthed in Kalinga, Calao, Butuan, and elsewhere in the Philippines. Even the as yet unsequenced Filipino genome may have its own surprising secrets to tell. Perhaps it is fitting then to return to all of this just as the Filipino people are at the cusp of a new journey of exploration beyond the familiar seas of our childhood to the stars. For Sese, space exploration and historical appreciation are two sides of the same coin. All this interest in new technologies can make one wonder what we did in the past. It's the way of countering the naysayers through astronomy. We can learn about our own culture and identity as Filipinos. These words call to mind a common local adage. If you don't look back at where you came from, you won't get to where you're going. And who knows where this journey will lead. Archaeologists in some distant far future may find not a diminutive Filipino satellite, but something more, a spacefaring vessel perhaps, an interstellar balangay. Other than the balangay, Easter Island possibility, the common roots of Austronesian languages, and my favorite, the spread of chickens, the ancient Filipinos were one of the most important peoples to a bigger Southeast Asia and Polynesia community. I am Leoncio Calderon II of St. Mark Integrated School from the Philippines. Thank you. Mabuhay, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much, Calderons. Dear sir, really, we expressed a lot of ideas about your presentation with the help of your presentation, and you expressed how the Filipino were were established globally for hunting and carving, and again what to sustain their livelihood. Really, it was a good journey of Filipino peoples. And first of all, let me mention one of the ideas. See that Mr. Sorry, Mr.
Leoncio,
Calderon mentioned ancient history about the development regarding the human beings and how the interlinked with civilization and early brotherhoods. Thank you so much for nice presentation. So let me ask now Elizabeth Masatu, Tanzania. Please introduce yourself and go ahead. Is there Elizabeth?
yes, she's here. Elisa?
Hello.
Hi, yes, audible. Please go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry, I'm preparing my presentation. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth from Tanzania. I have a background in wildlife science and conservation, and I'm working in a conservation sector in Tanzania to protect our earth, but also for our community. So I'll go ahead with our topic on our earth, our community. We all know that we depend on this earth to live, and it is the only planet that is support lives. And we human beings, we depend on the earth, but also we have animals that also depend on this planet to live. So without the earth, there can be no any earth community, but the earth can be there without us human beings. So this is Udzungwa Mountain, found in Tanzania. It's one of the most protected areas and a very biodiversity containing area. The mountain offers a lot of benefits to communities living around, and most of them do benefit from this mountain. As you can see, it is a full grain mountain with very high waterfalls. So when you talk about the earth, we must involve an ecosystem. And when we communities get access to ecosystem, we also get access to our health, but also the health of our animals. We depend on these trees to give us oxygen air that we all need for breathing, but also absorption of ultraviolet rays that are being emitted from greenhouse gases and carbon dioxide gases. They're all absorbed through trees, so that we need a green earth for sustainable conservation, but also for our life. But also, not only the air, our earth provides us with safe drinking water, also water to use for our daily lives. So without the earth, we can't get access to clean air or clean water. As you can see, this is a Tanzanian child enjoying access to water and is also living adjacent to this Mount Udzungwa. So they get access to a lot of water and they can use it. But also, presence of a green ecosystem provides good fertile agricultural land for communities that are living in these areas. They do depend on seasonal rainfall for cultivation, but also fertile soil that is present in this area. They also depend on this. This is pad farming, rice. So people in these communities do depend on the available mountain, Mount Udzungwa, to harvest their crops annually, and it is a seasonal agricultural farming. But also we do depend on our earth for our mental health, but also for our body. So you might go to a national park or any natural environment to refresh for your health, but also to prepare your mental for any activity. So we do need the earth for all these activities. And as you can see, it really supports us communities. But what is really now happening to the earth that we all depend to live? We all know that human population have grown to the extent that the earth fails to support us or to provide with what we need. So our population is greater than what the earth can provide. In example, in Tanzania, the according to the last year census, we were approximately 6.7 million people with an annual growth rate of 3%. So you can see how the population is really growing annual. And when the human population grow, these are the effects that are now happening. The largest effect is deforestation. People do harvest trees for timber production and also other business, but also there is charcoal harvesting that a lot of people do depend on charcoal and firewood for as source of energy. So you find that large amount of trees is being cutting down just to use for human purposes. But also there is an issue of forest burning. People do clear forests, also burning forests for their settlement and also prepare for agricultural fields. So you find that the population is growing and they need an extra land for them to live. So they have to clear the forest so that they can get an area for settlement. So this will affect the forest in Tanzania. But also we have an issue in waste management. There's no proper waste management system. So the rate of pollution is really high, as you find that people do dispose waste everywhere they feel to dispose, and this really affects our water systems and also what we need, we as community. So you find the community health is really affected. And what we are now affecting the earth, and what are the challenges that we as community that depend on this living planet, we are now facing. Due to the increased factors of human activities, the global climate have changed, and the change in global climate have resulted to high rate of drought, but also little absorption of greenhouse gases. So there is outbreak of diseases that are now coming to our communities. We find people are getting cancer disease, but why? Because trees have been reduced and there's no more trees to capture the carbon dioxide and the other greenhouse gases that affect us. But also the issue of drought, you found that people are now getting scarce to water and they travel a very long distance to catch for water. You find these are children that they go to find water in nearest villages or in other areas so that they can get access to water. And you may see these are very young children, but carrying very big water bottles. But here is a hole that has been shared by people, but also with the human beings. So you can see how it is hard to get water due to what we human beings are contributing to the earth. But due to climate change, there is an issue of hunger, that animals are dying because of lack of food. We all depend for our earth for food, but animals do die due to lack of food, but also water. And here is an issue on the biggest challenge that is facing conservationists nowadays is human-wildlife conflict. This is caused due to increase in human settlement that people are now going to nearest areas that are nearest protected areas and establish their settlement. But animals do come from their natural areas and visiting the nearest areas. So you find that animals, they do, when they go to people's settlement, they start feeding for crops and resulting to a very big destruction that results to conflict. And this is a very biggest challenge that we are now dealing with in Tanzania, but also global. But what we are the one who destructed the earth, and what should we done to save this living planet that we all depend on? These are some of the ways that we can use to save our planet so that the community health can be sustained, but also the natural environment can remain where they are and provide us with our daily necessities. When we planted trees, will recover the range from bare range to green range. So we need to plant more trees so that the lost trees can be recovered. And this is the tree nursery that we always prepare to provide to schools which are living near less protected areas, but also some other schools that they can help to recover the land that's due from trees that have been lost. But also we as community, we need to develop waste management system, proper waste management system. We can use the 3 R's to reduce, reuse, but also to recycle the waste that we are all using. This will help reduce the rate of pollution that we are causing to our earth. But also we can do conservation education, and this can be done through preparing different curriculum to schools. That is a way of providing conservation education to students from primary to high levels. For example, in Tanzania, we have primary schools to secondary schools. So different curriculum can be prepared to help enhance conservation from the grassroots to adults. So, and this might help to restore the natural ecosystem that have been lost. And also conservation awareness raising, especially to local communities that are living near less protected areas. As I can talk in Tanzania, majority of local communities that are living near protected areas, you find that many of them have little conservation awareness towards protecting the environment. So you find that majority of them see it as a barrier for their activities. So there is the need to raise awareness in these local communities. This is me. I was one in the community found near Udzungwa Mountains National Park in Tanzania. And it's one of the communities that is facing high human-wildlife conflict challenge, but also loss of crops due to increased human activities. So when you talk with them, you find that there's something that they need, we as conservationists, to do to save the community, but also to save our natural environment and the whole ecosystem. But also more ecological research should be done. We as conservationists and environmental readers, we need to develop more researches to see what is really happening to our earth and what is really happening to the communities that all depend on this living planet to live. So if we develop a lot of researches, come up with good results, it might help restore our natural ecosystem and save this living earth. As we know, it is everyone's responsibility to save the earth. And from here, who should be involved? We need to involve different people, and this include from the grassroots, that we need to involve from children to adults, and to also youth should be involved. As we know, youth are the main protectors of biodiversity, and they have a high voice that they can enhance conservation. So we need to enhance conservation from grassroots to adults. Okay. This is a project which has been run in Tanzania for recently, and it's a new established project operated by FOPEC Tanzania. This project came up after finding that there is an area with high destruction and is caused due to increased human activities that leads to loss of large number of trees. And this project has been conducted in the southeast of Tanzania, in Pwani region, within a district of Kisarawe. This district has 2 very sensitive forest reserves. As you see here, we have Kazimzumbwe Forest Reserve and the Pugu Forest Reserve. These are 2 forest reserves that protect a very large number of biodiversity, but also provide very high benefits to local communities that are living adjacent to this area. But due to increase in human activities, the area is now, trees are now lost adjacent to this area. From this map, you can see that there is an area highlighted in red. This is a very sensitive area that borders these two forestry reserves. So, and this is a very sensitive area caused by human activities. That the population here now is really large, and people do cut down a lot of wood trees, that leading to climate change in that district. So, FOPEC Tanzania started a project called Sustainable Development of Green Schools and Forest in the Community-owned land areas. This project aimed to reforest over 50 hectares in Kisarawe district by planting more than 200,000 trees. And these trees, if we do plant trees in this area, will help restore the natural ecosystem of that area by protecting biodiversity, but also providing health benefits to these local communities that are living adjacent to these areas. And the project involves students from primary and secondary schools, but also it will involve communities that are living nearest to these protected areas. So we will have curriculum that will be presented to schools, and those will be based on providing conservation education to these schools, and we first aim to reach about 15 schools where we'll have sessions on environmental conservation education in primary and the secondary schools, but also we will have tree nurseries established in each school, which will be protected by the students themselves, but also be monitored by teachers and FOPEC Tanzania. But also this project aims to enhance conservation through communities that are living nearest to that area. So if we do plant trees, we'll give responsibility and full supervision to the communities that are living. They will have to take care of the growing trees that are being established in that area. So this is FOPEC Tanzania, and this is our project area. Okay, FOPEC started with an initial project in 2021, which was a project to see on how we can develop this project in schools, but also in communities. So we started with growing 3,000 seedlings, and all these seedlings were given to one school present in this district, and were given to students, and teachers were responsible for monitoring the growing of trees. So this photo shows in September 2021 when we were planting trees, and as you can see, the beside land is really bare and very dry land that there are no even grasses, no trees adjacent. And this was in 2021. But after our very long time of waiting, we went to do monitoring in 2023, in February. And now you can see how the land have changed from this bare land to the land that has now grasses covering the land, but also trees have grown. And the students do enjoy the environment that is present now than the environment that was present before. And from this pilot project, we are now going to proceed with our project soon, so that we can restore the large areas of Kisarawe district. This platform, it's a digital platform operating global called GELTA. It's a platform that deals on restoration. And this is one of the platforms that provide an idea of what we as conservationists needed to do so that we can restore our natural ecosystem and keep our community health, so that we all benefit from this living planet, but also keeping our earth very clean and that it can support us. So according to LASTA, they say that the earth still needs more than 1 trillion trees that can help prevent species extinction, reduce carbon dioxide, but also absorb other greenhouse gases. And this will help improve people's health that all need these trees to develop, but also animals also need this more than these trees to help them reduce from extinction. But what should be done? Let's just suggest that we need to improve our effort through tree plantation, conservation education, and also doing more ecological research so that we can improve our planetary resilience with highlights of biodiversity. And this is the end of my presentation. I thank all of you for listening, but let's join hands, we as conservationists and environmental leaders, so that we can protect our earth. This is Elizabeth, a co-founder in Corporate Tanzania, and you can reach me through my email and my contact numbers. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lot of idea were hidden and you express in different way, many way. Really, hats off and congrats. You are working on many lot more project. Let me ask again what are you hint. Elizabeth mentioned every school supposed to be green school, but green school. But I would like to mention whole environment supposed to be green, and when it would be green, if the community involvement is there, and also same things mentioned Elizabeth. So everywhere, every school, so such courses to be enriched. At my department, at my university, I introduced one of the course which is rendered by our governance, that is green electronics, and I the secretary for the same for center for e-waste management. Because nowadays pollution, okay, one side is going on rapidly, and another way the technology is going on very fast and rapidly, but nobody is going to take care about e-waste. So that's why go green, live green, grow more trees, then and then only our nation, our globe, our earth can save. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Really, all the presentation were very wonderful. Really, thank you so much. Now I request and, now may I request Mohiddin to say few words about today's presentation.
Thank you, our great and interactive moderator. Especially thanks to all who have joined with us our today's session, and our global executive director Corina Shuzdia, all of speaker Najada Ivanova, Elizabeth Masau, and our another speaker and all of our today's speaker for great session and great topics and great presentation. So just I think the GELTA is our great project. So I have a suggestion to continue GELTA for long time, and we want to every month one session, and we can continue for a long time and in future. So we can create some new topics about our education, about our culture, about art. So we know that art is very important, and SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, and implementation of education, implementation of SDG to our people, to a global community is more important for us. So this webinar or this training was very important for us and very informative for us. And again, I want to thanks all of our speakers. Okay, thank you, dear moderator.
Thank you so much. Now may I request at the end for the concluding remark, please, Dr. Corina Susdeva, Romania, please express your thoughts regarding today's event.
Thank you, Dr. Murali. But before to conclude with closing remarks, I would like to ask if anyone have, I don't know, own views related to environment, or want to add something or to ask something. Our speakers of today, you are most welcome. Just raise your hand and you will can speak. Yes, work was done. Totally true. Totally agree with you, Mr. Abdul Haq. Work was done in a great way. Congratulations to our speakers. We start with adrenaline, with help of Nadia, and I love her presentations all the time. That quiz, I think, give us more adrenaline. And after that, we go with Mr. Calderon from Philippines. I know Mr. Calderon is traveling right now, but he managed somehow to be here, and I am totally grateful to him. And of course, at the end, with my dear friend from Tanzania, Eliza, who gives us a very nice perspective of Africa environment. And of course, her organization, she said she's a co-founder there. Congratulations to her and to what she is doing there. Hats off to you, Eliza, and thank you for accepting the invitation to be here today.
Thank you.
So if there is someone who wants to ask something or wants to say a few words, please feel free. I will share right now in the chat box the Google form for participation. Yes, Mr. Heidi, our friend, she's always joining our sessions. Welcome.
First, welcome everyone, and thanks for all very good presentation. Really, thanks a lot for all speakers. It was a very good webinar, a very good presentation. Thanks a lot for all efforts for our speakers. And for all Arab and Muslim teachers who joined us today, I hope for all of them a very happy Ramadan, inshallah. The month of Ramadan for us is the most of virtuous moral in which people rise and rise. So every year, and you are fine, a dear occasion for all Muslim. Thanks a lot. And I hope a good success for our groups, for our teams. Thanks a lot for everyone. Happy to be with you every session.
Thank you, Ms. Hedia. And yes, according to what you just said, because we know it's the month of Ramadan starting, we will less our session in the next month, but we will be here. So please stay close to us because we will be here with other. Hello, my dear.
I'm from Vietnam.
Most welcome. What's your name?
My name is Giang.
Okay. Did you like the presentations?
Thank you.
Most welcome. Thank you too for joining us. Okay, Mr. Murali, over to you, because I do believe there are not many people who want to say something.
Okay, thank you so much, my dear Corina. Then
not Corona, no,
Corina,
not
Corina.
Again, not again.
Calderon, then Madeza and Elizabeth. Really, today's talk, our ideas, our trainers, are very, very wonderful. But in a real sense, we have to go through the actual real-time work, because many of the things what we do, we put it down only the papers. So sometimes there is no way use of what such a papers writing. So it should be in among the mass, real time in force. So that's why I want to express that idea. You go among the community, you make some ideas which are very essential to sustain the environment, because in all way the warming going on.
Mhm.
But how to sustain, because pure water, your water conservation, reforestation is very essential. Everybody is doing deforestation, but nobody is working for reforestation. So those ideas are very essential. And we know the glaciers, the pure quality of water or drinkable water is very less. Somehow, after all, few days, few years, few months, where we could be. So that is again question. So we have to save the water also. We have to save the earth also. We have to sustain our whole community who is living on the earth. Thank you so much.
Okay, so thank you all of you. Thank you, Mr. Murali, for a great moderation of the session. Yes, Mr. Ismail.
Hello.
Hello.
I am very glad to be a member of a global educational network. I am from Africa, from Chad. My country is Chad. So this topic for today is a very interesting for me and for all of us, because we talk about the earth, and so something very interesting. So thank you, and thanks for all members.
Thank you too. So by that, I believe we can close the meeting. So don't forget once again to fill up the registration form, and see you next time in a new session. Stay close to us. See you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I stop now? Okay, dear
Yes,
moderator.
please.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. See you again.
Bye, Corina. Bye, Doc.